So we had a fun idea. We've recently been getting a lot more inquiries about the HubSpot Salesforce integration. Why is it so complicated? We've done kind of a 101 video overview, and now we're going to break it down because there's so many complications within this HubSpot Salesforce integration that we want to dive in and kind of pick apart some that we see more common than others. And the first thing we're going to do today, we're calling it the integration on top of the integration, right? And I'm here with Steven Thiel, smartest guy I know, and we're going to tackle what is the integration on top of the integration and why does it mess up the HubSpot to Salesforce integration, if anyone's still following on all of those integrations.
Awesome. Yes. I mean, that's the beauty of Salesforce is for years, it's been so customizable. You can purchase Salesforce, but you can change you can change the UI of it. You're not locked into what comes out of the box with Salesforce. HubSpot on the flip side, CRM, being able to edit the UI in any ways, it's a rather new feature. It's just honestly been rolling out in the last couple of months. So HubSpot, you buy HubSpot, it's out of the box. You've got your standard menu, your standard objects, and you can then customize the properties, the flows, the workflows. But on the Salesforce side, since they've been doing this a lot longer, their UI is completely customizable. So you can pay Salesforce, but then companies started building, an integration or an overlay or whatever you want to call it that sits on top of Salesforce. So say you're in financial services, you're in wealth management, and there's tons of different industries that go into this. And you purchase Salesforce, but then you can also go and purchase this other platform that is powered by and built on Salesforce, but it is out of the box, completely customized for your very specific industry and use case. Which is awesome. It probably saves time having to kind of build it yourself. You already have a lot of the reporting that you want. You have the customization that you want in terms of flows and processes and properties that are very specific to your industry. These are very popular in financial services, wealth management firms, loan origination firms. Great that it's out of the box set up for you, but it poses a lot of challenges when you are also using HubSpot for marketing.
Okay. So you're in there, you're in the weeds, all the engineers are following. I'm glad. Now let's use a practical example. Let's say I'm a chief revenue officer. My sales is telling me they love their Salesforce environment. They've got the perfect overlay that fits and works for them. My marketing team is saying, well, we love our HubSpot. We love it. We're having a little trouble though with these two talking to one another. Okay. One, why are we having trouble? And two, why is it so important that these two talk to each other?
I'd say one of the biggest obstacles you're going to have when you are using one of these integrations or overlays on the Salesforce side is understanding what objects that they're using. Typically, they're going to have custom objects within Salesforce, again, that are specifically built for your use case. That poses a challenge on the HubSpot side if you want to be able to use the data that lives within those custom objects for your marketing purposes, which comes down to your subscription level. You would need an enterprise level subscription on the HubSpot side. Doesn't matter if it's marketing, sales, or service, you need an enterprise level subscription to be able to utilize custom objects. Like first thing out of the box when we're evaluating this is, okay, what do we have built in Salesforce? Are we using custom objects? Two, do we need that data in HubSpot? If we do, then we need to make sure we have the right subscription on the HubSpot side to be able to pass that through, which of course comes with a pretty substantial cost difference when you're looking at, Marketing Pro versus Marketing Enterprise.
Okay. And so, I think in general, everybody goes into all of these things and thinks it's going to be a lot less expensive and easier than it's going to be. And then they're like, oh, I can get that bell and whistle. I get that bell and whistle. I could connect these bells and whistles. So, ultimately, why once, okay, so now we bump up to Marketing Enterprise. Okay. We pay the money. We're not necessarily happy about it, but we paid it. Now we need this thing to seamlessly connect. We need all of the right information to, travel each way. We need all the right people to get the information. And I'm sure it's not just easy as hitting one little button. Why does that become a little bit more difficult? And how do we help our customers overcome those challenges?
Yeah, so then we get into the layer of difficulty in terms of, okay, typically if we have HubSpot, we're using HubSpot for lead generation, whether it's on our, we're running paid ads, SEO, we have forms embedded on our website. Typically, your marketing source lead generation is going to be coming out of HubSpot. So it is, building out the entire or mapping out that entire process on, okay, when does data flow into Salesforce? Do we want the sales team to have every lead? Do we need to build an inclusion list so that they only get a lead once that lead becomes qualified, whoever that term, or whatever your terminology is on the marketing side? And then of course, then we start talking about, we might have, sensitive data that's in the Salesforce side. How do we handle one-way sync versus two-way sync? How do we handle the marketing to sales handoff process? Whereas, out of the box Salesforce, we typically can control that flow. But when we are using, an integration on top of Salesforce, they typically come with pre-built flows, workflows, processes, handoff processes that we then need to map to make sure that leads are flowing in correctly, that they're getting assigned correctly within Salesforce, and that HubSpot isn't overriding any data that is kind of mission critical to your sales operation.
And so just when you thought, okay, fine, we'll pay a little more for marketing enterprise, we're paying for Salesforce, we're paying for whatever overlay we're talking about today, then now we got to get this stuff to work together. And you know what? That might be the biggest expense of all, because, what you're talking about is, really intricate stuff. And we obviously help our customers with this, and we, create that right architecture, then we implement it, then we test it, then we QC it. But all of that takes a lot of time and attention to make it all happen. So, now we've spent all the money, we've spent it with Salesforce, we spent it with the overlay, we spent it with HubSpot, now we're spending it with whoever we've got to put it all together. What does this promised land look like? And what is this beautiful world that we're living in, that we're super happy that we know, hey, maybe it was a lot of money, but it was absolutely worth the investment?
Yeah, the promised land and what our clients are always looking for is, you get a full picture of your view, of your prospects and customers' journey. You can see everything that's going on the marketing side. When are they coming in? What are they converting on? What keywords? What pages are they looking at? And then on the sales side, we can tie all of that back. So you do get that full picture view, of the entire journey, which is the goal of every RevOps team. But after we go through all this process and we, map out HubSpot to Salesforce, Salesforce to HubSpot, what that looks like, you get that much better marketing and sales alignment, and you get more accurate reporting. So whether you're a marketing leader, a sales leader, or you're sitting on a leadership team, yes, it's a big investment, and there's typically a steep learning curve, and there are sync limitations and whatnot that we always have to deal with. But in the end, you get that end-to-end kind of reporting from marketing, sales, customer service, if they're also using, these tools for CX. But it's that end-to-end reporting, full picture view. You know exactly where your leads are coming from, what they're converting on, what leads are, tend to, turn into more SQL's customers on the sales side. So definitely ties everything together.
Yeah. And this is one of the things that I hit on I feel like I'm on a broken record when I go on these podcasts and I talk about, RevOps and, this unification of previous silos of sales and marketing. And so in the middle of our world that we just assume everybody recognizes this, but there's a lot of leaders out there that don't even have, sales and marketing being, accountable to some sort of revenue leader, whether it's a CRO or, VP of RevOps, whatever. So, we're saying a lot of things that some people might not even realize is possible. That's right. You can have all of the information and know across marketing, sales, even customer success, what all of the touch points are with your customers, what's the most valuable. And then, because everybody's got a user account tied to them, you can also kind of understand who's hitting the KPIs they need to hit. Let's just say that very nicely. And so there is a visibility to being able to really build out the revenue side of your business and understanding based off of the data showing us what's working, what's not, what can be improved upon, and I don't know that everybody knows that. I don't even, I think people start even going down this path, right? Salesforce HubSpot integration. Interesting. Well, how's that going to work? And then what does that look like? Oh, so our marketing can see what our sales is doing. That's okay. And our sales can see what our marketing's doing. You know, they don't really care, but they can at least see now, right? But no, at the end of the day, it's like you can actually have a bird's eye view through the technology. Technology makes this easier than ever to have these departments working together, unified, and you, who oversees it all, you can measure every single part of that journey and be able to realize like where your strengths and weaknesses lie. So it's a really actually cool, exciting time with awesome outcome when you get there. But as we are going through in this series, this Salesforce and HubSpot integration can just be a little complicated, and there could be some bumps and some turbulence getting where you want to go.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely gets portrayed as being a rather easy integration to set up, and sure, in some cases it can be. But it's worth it in the long run. You know, worth the time and effort that needs to go into it to just have that end-to-end reporting and tie all your systems together, and not have every department kind of operating in a silo, which is something we encounter quite often.
So don't worry if you're getting the Salesforce and HubSpot integration, it's not working together. You've got this overlay. Things aren't going the way you want to. There are options. You can get to your promised land. It will cost you money, but in the end, it'll be worth it. All right. Thanks so much, Stephen. I really appreciate it. This was great.
Appreciate it.